So as part of today's class, we will be discussing about BADIs like business add-ins and change pointers that need to be activated to have seamless integration of master data and transactional data between feeder system and GTS system. So that means as part of today's class, we will discuss about the list of BADIs that need to be activated to transfer transactional data from S4 or ECC system to the GTS system. And also we will discuss about change pointers that need to be activated to transfer master data between S4 HANA or ECC to the GTS system. So if you think that perspective, to transfer the master data, what need to be activated? To transfer the master data, what is need to be activated?
BADIs.
No funny. Transfer the master data, we need to activate the change pointers. Okay. To transfer the master data, we have to activate the change pointers. To transfer like customer master, we have specific BADI, and for the vendor master, we have different change pointer, and then for material, we have different change pointer. Like that, for all the master data elements, SAP has given different type of change pointers that need to be activated. So in the similar way, to transfer the transactional data. So what are the different transactional data elements we transfer from the S4 to GTS?
Day-to-day transactions, whatever the sales orders and purchase orders, deliveries.
Like, can you like make okay, put it in export side, so that's easy for you, like to recollect or
Okay, sales order, delivery, and invoice.
Excellent. So for as part of export, we need to transfer total 3 different transactions: sales order, outbound delivery, billing document, or the pro forma invoice. From the import side, we have to transfer purchase order, inbound delivery, and the last one is goods receipt document. So these are all the 6 transactions that we have to transfer from S4 to the GTS as part of transactional data integration. So now, like you understood that there are, if 6 transactions means, that means we have to activate, or we have total 6 different BADIs. We have total 6 different BADIs that we need to activate to transfer all the 6 different transactions, and then different kind of change pointers to transfer the master data. Okay, let me open the master sheet, our class notes, so that it will like stick to your minds. So 1 second, I have not shared, right? Okay, 1 second. Lost few things. Okay. So let me say that this tab as baddies, and change pointers. Okay. Let me close few things. Let me delete whatever is not required.
Hello,
Hello?
Venkat, no here. Yeah,
Yes, please.
hello. Yeah, in the custom management, are we covering IPR, OPR scenarios, Venkat?
Yes, we do have that. Inventory management,
Yes.
right? We have we
Yeah,
will
yeah,
cover
that's
that.
correct.
Inventory management. One basically
EMCS also, right?
huh?
EMCS also.
EMCS is not part of it, but we will cover outbound, inbound, which is part of bonded warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
That will take care of it. Bonded warehouse basically.
Okay.
So ECC S4 HANA, and then let me come out. Let me. So as part of export, we will transfer total 3 transactions: sales order, delivery, billing document, and then import side will transfer purchase order, inbound delivery, and goods receipt. So the point is, can you guess or can you answer to this question? So you understood now there are 6 BADIs that we need to activate to transfer transactional data from feeder system to the target system, like GTS system. So where do we need to activate these BADIs? Where do we need to activate?
ECC or S4 HANA?
Exactly.
Feeder system, feeder system.
Feeder system. Basically, in simple words, feeder system. So that could be ECC, like 99% of the cases, it could be ECC or S4HANA is our feeder system. So that's the place where we need to activate all these BADIs. So now we can look at individual BADI. So to transfer the sales orders, from the feeder system to the GTS, the BADI that was given by SAP, the BADI that was given by SAP is SD0A. So SAP has given a BADI called business add-in called BADI is nothing but like a function module. It's a kind of type of one type of function module. So that's what we need to activate as part of like those are the BADIs like we need to activate as part of the data integration. So for the sales orders, we have to activate SD0A. It's very simple. So you know that sales order is part of our sales and distribution module, right? So that if you remember that way, SD module, like for sales order, 0A, for the delivery, 0B, and for the billing document or the pro forma, we have to activate the BADI that is SD0C. So in the similar way, for import side, for purchase order, so purchase order where we create which module is responsible for taking care of purchasing activities or purchase transactions, module, right? Materials management. It's also straightforward. So is module where we create all our import transactions. So that's why it starts with to transfer purchase order data from feeder system to the GTS system. What we have to do, we have to activate a BADI called MM0A. And for the inbound delivery, MM0B. And for the goods receipt, we have to activate MM0C. So SD0A, SD0B, SD0C from the export side to transfer transactional data from feeder system to the GTS system. And from the import side, we have to activate MM0A, MM0B, MM0C. So these are the 3 BADIs we have to activate from feeder system to the GTS system. So let me open the system. So let me open SAP. So you will get access before the next class, okay? Okay.
Hi, Venkat. Divya this side.
Now, Divya, recordings, right?
Yeah, yes, I need the recording as well because
I'll
as
share
you
in-
know, hmm.
I'll share after the class. Somehow I missed it. Okay, just give me one more minute.
So Venkat, server access means it's going to be it's a VPN kind of like that, or
It's a remote desktop.
cloud only.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, I have to change this. More options. Hmm. Okay. So this is what I was telling like few days back. A standalone system means this is S4HANA. So if you open this SAP S4HANA, if you open this SAP S4HANA, not for people who are having the background, it's only for people who are not. So when you go to like SPRO, wherever you go, you see that all like our SD module, MM module, all modules you can see that. But whereas the GTS, it is only having like integration related things, but not full GTS module is part of S4HANA. But other than this, you can see that all other modules like PP, MM, finance, everything else. So a standalone module cannot be part of S4HANA or ECC. It's a separate box. It is a separate system. So we create all the transactions under S4HANA. And then when the moment when you create a transaction, that will be transferred to the GTS because we connect both systems using RFC setup. So in order to transfer, so the first primary prerequisite that is required to transfer the data integration between the feeder system to the GTS system is setting up the RFC connections. Setting up the RFC connections. So that RFC connection is not your responsibility. Basis team or platform team, like infra team, they will take care of setting up the connections, RFC connection between GTS to S4. Basically what they do, there are some steps they follow and then they connect both the systems and give it to you. So you don't need to create a connection from your end. Okay. So they follow different steps like creating the logical system and then setting up the SM59. They do some RFC setup, creating the user ID and password. But I will show you where you can check whether it is connected or not. I can only show you because you don't really do that activation part. That's why like you do not really you really do not need to know that part. But I will show you as a functional consultant, you need to know, right, whether both systems are connected or not, whether the target system is active or not, whether the target system is connecting or not. Those things we need to know as a functional consultant. So I will show you. Okay. So let me explain this BADIs first, and then we'll go to that part. Okay. So to activate the BADIs, you have to go to integration with other SAP components. So under integration with other SAP components, you see that governance, risk and compliance, integration with governance, risk and compliance, global trade services. Under the SAP global trade services, that is SAP GTS, you see control data for transfer to SAP GTS module. So control data for transferring the data from SAP S4HANA to GTS module. So the first thing what we do is technical activation of document transfer. Technical activation of document transfer. So are you able to see all these BADIs? SD0A for orders, SD0B for deliveries, SD0C for billing document, MM0A for purchase orders, MM0B for inbound delivery, MM0C for the material documents. So now you have a question. So Venkat, how can we activate it? How do we activate it? So this activation is very simple and straightforward. It does not require any complex process. So one click and save it, it will activate, and another click and save it, it will deactivate. So that means, so you may have the question, why do we need to deactivate? Or the other question, are we not activate all these? Are we not activate all these BADIs? So what is your guess? What is your guess? Do we activate all? Or how do we know that which are all the transactions, which are all the BADIs you need to activate? What is the criteria to activate? Do you just like that activate everything?
For export purpose, we need to activate SD0A, SD0B, SD0C.
Exactly. So that means it is like this. For example, if your client is only doing export, they're not doing any import, then do we really need to activate all the MM0A, MM0B?
No.
No, right? We do not need. That's correct. So if the company is doing both export and import, then you will activate all the 6 BADIs. Or the company is only doing like either export or import, you will be only activating the respective BADIs. So now let me show you how to activate it. It's just executing the BADI. When you click on it, it will simply ask you, do you want to deactivate BADI implementation? So what does it mean? Why it is asking you like, do you want to deactivate the BADI when you're trying to execute?
Already it is activated.
Activated.
Exactly. So it is already activated. So if it is not activated, then it will ask you, do you want to activate it? So I don't want to deactivate it because it is a test system, right? Many people are testing on it. But just for a few seconds, we can deactivate it. And then, but it's not recommended, but just for the demo purpose, I'm just doing it. But you don't do that, okay? Do not try it. If you forget it, the people will struggle transferring the data. They have to do little research and come back to this stage, come back to this step. Okay. So now it is deactivated. So now if you want to activate it, it's again the simple. So now it will ask you, do you want to activate the BADI? Then say yes. And it goes to like in the same transport. Activated. Okay. So like this, either activation or deactivation, one-step process. Okay. But just let you know that you will not be getting, mostly like very few people will be giving access to this in the real environment. I mean, if you are very new to project or you are not authorized, only like, some people, but in few cases, maybe you will be having, but whatever the case it is, like always, when you are handling this, be cautious when you are working on this activation or the deactivation. Okay. So the same thing, even for the SD0B, just one click, okay? Or even for the SD0C or MM0A, MM0B, for all these cases, this is the same, activation or deactivation. So if you do not activate these baddies, you know what happens? You create a sales order, it will not go to the GTS. You create a delivery, it will not go to the GTS. You create a billing document, it will not go to the GTS. So when it will be going to the GTS, the first primary prerequisite is setting up the RFC connection and then you have to activate these baddies. This is the second thing. So provided you activate the, provided you set up the RFC connections between the two systems and then activating the baddies, then only the system transfers the data. So the next part is, now I'm going back to our master sheet. So now when I say, looks we lost the data, right? Okay, let me copy it on one.
Venkat, can you please mute the other participant who is not on mute, please?
Yes, 1 second. Okay, I just muted. If you want to talk, you can unmute yourself. Okay, so now if I'm going to make the session is more interactive so that you will be able to understand how the system works, okay? So that's very, very important. I don't want to go on my own pace by making that you lose what is required, okay? So now you tell me, you activated SD0A or SD0B for the delivery, SD0C for the billing document, okay? Okay, so now you activated SD0A for transferring the sales order data to the GTS system and outbound delivery SD0B and billing document SD0C. As part of export, you activated these baddies. So when you activated the SD0A sales order, you already seen that, right? Activation, deactivation, or especially activation part you already seen. So when you are activating, did you get a chance to specify, I wanted to transfer only this document type, or I wanted to transfer only that document type, or I wanted to transfer only this company code data? So did you get any option while activating the baddies or activating the baddies?
No,
No,
not
right?
an order type.
No.
So then what happens if you don't do that? If we do not have that option, what is going to happen? So as part of your day-to-day business activity, you create the standard orders, you create rush orders, right? Or you create cash sales, or you create sample orders, you create so many domestic orders, right? So many export orders. So you create a number of transactions, right? So then what is going to happen if you don't restrict it? So is it really required to transfer all the domestic transactions to the GTS for checking the country details or checking the bad member details or checking the license and all? Do we really need all those legal?
No.
No, right? We do not need.
No.
That's correct. We do not need. So that's why we need to have an option, right? We need to have an option to control what need to be transferred, and what not to be transferred, and also how the system can perform the screening as well. So that means how the system can perform screening for a particular document type, or what document types can be transferred, and what the system behavior when you try to transfer the data from S4 to GTS. So these kind of controls we do not have while activating the baddies, SD0A or SD0B or SD0C, or even MM0A, MM0B, MM0C. So that is the reason what happens, SAP has given the subsequent configuration subsequent configuration where you have a provision to control all other dependent things. So let me show you that. Okay. Okay. This is technical activation, just BADIs one-step process. And then the second thing what you have to do is configure control settings for document transfer. So the deeper level settings or lower level settings, okay, or more controls we can do under this configuration. Okay. So as part of this configuration, so for each BADI level, for each application level or each BADI level, MM0A or each application level, you know what we can do? We can tell what are all the first level, you can tell the system what are all the documents that are applicable for the GTS transfer. What are all the document types that are applicable for the GTS transfer. So now, so whatever the document type it is, those document types, what you can do, you can list here and then you can tell the system, yes, for this document type, okay, for the standard order, we want system to check compliance screening, and risk management we do not need. And when I say the GTS dialog box, basically we have an option. So when you create a sales order, in S4 system or feeder system, the moment you save it, you know what happens? System can give a pop-up message saying that this document, the sales order what you are trying to create is already transferred to the GTS, and then it has undergone, this sales order has undergone like compliance screening, and then system blocked, like system has a block of SPL or embargo or no blocks. Basically, the pop-up message tells you when you create a sales order, the moment you save it, it tells this sales order has been transferred to the GTS and send and receive feedback from the GTS saying that this document has been screened, and then this is the status: screen blocked or screen released, whatever it is. So that kind of pop-up message you get it. So if you want that pop-up message, then you have to activate this. If you want that pop-up message, you have to activate it. So if you don't want that, so you don't want to see anything, any response, you don't want to see any response for the sales order what you are creating in the S4 system, then you don't need to activate it. So basically what you can do, first you can list out the document types that are applicable for the GTS transfer, and then you can tell whether the compliance screening is applicable or not, or the risk management is applicable or not, and also whether you want to receive a dialog box, a dialog message or pop-up message when you save the sales order in the S4 system. And on the top of it, there is another option. This is very, very important. You know one thing, there are very, very few clients. You know what they do? They wanted to get document screen. They wanted to get the sales order, delivery or billing document. They want to get those documents screened in the GTS and blocked in the GTS. But they wanted to allow subsequent process in the S4 system or feeder system. So there are two options, right? If you remember correctly, okay, what is going to happen as part of typical GTS feeder system or GTS or S4 integration? Whenever you create a sales order, GTS system create a custom document for the sales order, and the GTS system will do the screening of this document. And if it is blocked, this custom document for the sales order blocks in the GTS system. And also what it does, this transfer the block to the sales order, and this also will be blocked. That is the typical process, right? Hello?
Yes, Venkat.
Yes.
So whenever we create a sales order, it goes to the GTS system and it gets screened. And if any block is there, SPL block, embargo block, product classification related, like classification related or license, then GTS system blocks this custom document for the sales order and also sent back that block information to the sales order and applies the block to the sales order as well. So this is a typical process. So whenever it blocks, what happens? Most of the times, I mean, whenever the sales order gets blocked, you are not able to do the subsequent activity, the subsequent delivery. If it is delivery, you cannot do the picking or packing or the goods issue. You cannot do that. So very few cases what happens, whatever the block it is, it is always going to be reviewed. It is always going to be. It is not the final, because it's a system. It is a system, and also the way how the configuration for the SPL is very tricky, and you also come across some inappropriate blocks as well. So like some percentage of it's not a real block. Real block in the sense system may block, like for example, there is I can say this like this. So Venkatarama and Venkatarama, like there are two people, Venkatarama or Venkataramana. So what is going to happen when system trying to, if Venkatarama is under blocker list, but the business partner is Venkatarama, if your business partner is Venkataramana, but the blocked member is Venkatarama, so what is going to happen? So some percentage, like majority percentage of details are matching, right? Name details are matching. So then system cannot ignore it. System will proactively block the transaction. But Venkata Rama is not a Ramana is not a really bad team, bad member. He's not a bad business partner. But system perspective, proactively make sure that since some percentage is matching, it blocks it. So these kind of reasons, because of this situation, there is always possibility that an incorrect blocks. So some client thinks that some clients think that we don't want to stop the subsequent transactions, but we wanted to review and then take action accordingly. So if your client says that, very few clients, but most of the clients don't recommend it. Most of the clients recommends block the transaction. So even if your client says that, okay, I don't want to block the subsequent transaction, then what you have to do? You have to configure this option. You see, follow-on processes, you have to select the follow-on processes allowed. So if you say follow-on process is allowed, then even though your sales order is blocked in the GTS, but in the S4 side, it will not stop the delivery, it will not stop the subsequent. It allows if you give this option, follow on process is allowed. But whereas most of the clients, what they don't want to allow, so they don't want to allow the follow on process not allowed. So that's dependent on the client. So whatever the client gives the requirement, according to that you will be configuring the system. So what you do after activating the BADIs, the second level, you have to tell what are all the documents that are applicable for the GTS transfer, and then each document level you can say whether the compliance screening is applicable or not. So when I say compliance screening, what are all the screenings will be performed for this document type in the GTS?
Embargo, SPL,
legal control and bomb.
product classification.
Yeah.
Classification.
Basically four things: SPL screening, embargo screening, classification, and the license determination, license screening. These are the four screenings as part of the compliance. When I say risk, actually SAP did not update this part. So now risk is only having the preference determination. Okay, you can, if a company using the preference determination, you can use this part. Okay, and this is the GTS dialog box. This is a basically follow-on activity. So these things are not really required. This we will discuss as part of the preference determination. Okay, but
Venkat, what about the GTS dialog we explained on that?
Is it mandatory to check the GTS dialog? Otherwise, we can't know that pop-up message which way it is.
No, not like that. You can see the status of the GTS complaints, the status of SPL block or embargo in license feeder system directly in the sales order. Previously, we don't have that option. Before, if you are using ECC, you do not see directly in the sales order. You can only see in the report level, ECC report, ECC report. But now in S4, SAP has come up with an option like SAP S4HANA 2023 version onwards. SAP S4HANA 2000, it's an interview question, okay? SAP S4HANA 2023 version onwards, you have an option where you can see in the sales order header status, it shows what is SPL block, release or blocked, embargo block, release or blocked, license block, release or block. Like that, you can see that. But this is additional thing. When you are manually creating, it gives them like pop-up message. Okay. Got it?
In our demo system also, we can able to see that header status, right?
Yeah.
While practicing this.
It is upgraded system. Whatever the system we are using, it's S4HANA 2023. Let me show that.
Venkat, one more thing. So we have a mini document type in S4, right? In Shadow or so all the document type we need to should add in this control that the one we showed us.
No, whatever the documents that are relevant to the GTS transfer, only those document types you have to. Okay, let me take one sales order and then show you. So if I go to header, status, see, embargo status. Screening means, watch list means, it's basically SPL is the previous, like, I mean, still SAP SPL is the GTS name, but some people call it as restricted party, some people call it as denied party, some people call it as watch list. So basically, you can see the screening status, SPL status. This is license status. So legal control, it includes classification and license. So all the three status, you can see that like this. This is only possible if your S4 system is 2023 version. The previous versions of S4 HANA, you cannot see this option. Okay. Let me go back to the, so this one. So now what you do here as part of here, you only activated, like you have an option as part of the configuration, what we have discussed so far or what we have discussed now is having an option to specify the document type. So you
what is the C/R comb option? Reference indicator is there and KMAT is there.
I told you, right? We will talk about those things as part of preference indicator. So this KMAT means it's a bomb related kind of bill of material part things. So these things we will discuss about the preference determination. Okay.
Apart from these 6 BADIs, do we have any other BADIs also in the live system?
No. Only 6 BADIs. We don't need other because it's only related for import and export, right? Import side 3 and export side 3.
Okay.
So now there are few cases where, for example, you have different company codes, right? Like the document types, like different document types, you have also having different company codes, right? So what if your client, if your client wants to transfer only specific company code transactions, then you can use this option. So if your company is not having any specific restrictions on the company code level, they're only concerned about the document types, then you can use this option. But whereas if your company is having a requirement to specify transfer only this company code, this document type, under this company code, these are all the document types. Under the second company code, these are all the document types. So if your company wanted to filter, the data based on the organizational units and the document type, then you can use this option. But if your company wanted to restrict the data transfer based on the document type, you can use this option. So this is also another interview question. So this document type and company code option, this is also not available in SAP S4HANA older versions, which means till 2023 S4HANA 2023 version, we do not have an option to see status in the sales order directly, what I have shown few minutes back. In the similar way, we do not have the control to restrict company code level, organizational unit level. So what you may have the question, how the people used to handle. So people used to do some kind of BADI enhancements. There are some BADIs where they do the enhancements. So what we can do enhancements stating that only transfer this company code and not other company codes. But now if your client is upgraded to SAP S4HANA 2023, you do not need to do any kind of enhancement. You can directly use this configuration. So here what you can do, you can simply tell, okay, so this company code, and then this company code, I need, this document type, and then I want compliance management or I want risk management. So like this, you can specify. So basically, one step you can do like document type level, and the second step you can do combination of document type and the company code, which is restricting unwanted data transferred to the GTS module from the S4R ECC. So this is what you need to know from the transactional data BADI activation. Okay, any doubts before I move on to the master data change pointers?
Good from anyone.
Okay, so thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask me now or later also. So now if I go to our master sheet, so now you understood. Okay, so how to activate these BADIs and what are the subsequent steps you can, subsequent controls or subsequent steps you need to follow while activating the BADIs in SAP S4HANA or ECC. Okay, and you are also now familiar with where to check the status of order, status of document in the S4 side. So now let us talk about the BADI. For master data, BADIs are not meant for the master data. BADIs are only meant for the transactional data, but master data transfer SAP has given what we call change pointers. Okay, let me explain. Let me put it on sheet. So we have S4HANA here, and we have our GTS system here. So in general, what master data we transfer from S4 to GTS? So what are the major elements, that the master data elements that are relevant from the S4 to GTS?
Business partners and vendors.
Data and vendor data.
So customers, right? Business part as a customer, business part as a vendor, and then we have like a bill of product, material or product. Or bill of material. And then as part of the preference determination, we also need to transfer the prices. Okay. Prices. What happened? Okay. So these are the master data elements that we need to transfer from S4 to the GTS system. Okay. So now we need to know what are the change pointers that we need to activate. Okay. So the change pointers. So basically the change pointers are so here you have to understand one thing. Generally, what are the tables for the sales order? Like VB, VBAC, VBAP, right? Or LIPS, LIKP, or VBRK, VBRP, like that, right? We have different tables in S4 HANA or ECC for like SD module and for the MM module, EKPO, EKKO, right? Or MKPF or MK BKPF for the finance side. We have like different tables here. A transaction codes like VA01, ME23, ME53, right? Like that ME51, like that we have like MIGO, MB05. So we have like a different transactions. So now the point is, please remember, any of SAP GTS transaction code, any of SAP GTS reports, any of SAP GTS tables, any of SAP GTS programs, SAP GTS BADIs, anything, you name it, you name anything in SAP GTS. Everything starts with slash SAP SLL. Slash SAP SLL. You name the table, you name the report, you name the program, you name the BADI, you name a transaction code, whatever it is. It always starts with SAP SLL. So for you, it looks like very big. When you look at the table, it looks very big. But if you find a way, like if you find a trick, the way how I'm explaining, then it is easy for you. Based on that, you can easily move on it. If you don't capture the logic, if you don't get the logic, it's tough to like, you feel it's a difficult. Okay. So like, let me explain this one first. So for the change pointers, the change pointer that need to be activated to transfer the customer data from the S4 to the GTS, that is
Venkat, one question. I have one question.
sure.
Yeah, the business partner as customer and vendor, these all are same as condition master data, customer master data, material master data, which you have shared the video
Yes,
regarding
in
S.
S4 HANA, we are calling it as a like business partner as a
Okay.
customer. We assign the customer role, right? You already seen SD videos, right? So
Yes.
there we call it as a customer. Even we also call it as a customer, but it's we don't use that XD01 or VD01 in S4 HANA. We use slash and BP, okay?
Okay.
To create the customer or vendor, whatever it is. But inside we assign the role. If you are creating the business partner if you are creating the business partner for the customer, you assign the role as a customer role. If you assign the business partner as a vendor, you're creating the business partner as a vendor, you assign the role as a vendor. That's how it.
Okay.
Okay. So slash SAP SLL, okay, and then customer change pointer debmas. Okay, I hope you are all familiar with this terminology, debmas, cremas, right? Most of the team.
Yes, Venkat.
And vendors, cremas, right? What happens? Am I missing anything?
Cremas.
Okay. So this is cremas. Okay, and then this one, you know that, right?
Matmas.
Correct. Okay, and this one, I think let me put in capital letters possible. Is there any key activated? I'm not able to catch what we say. Okay. So it's no problem. Okay, it's okay. SAP SLL, 3 mass. Okay, is the change pointer that need to be transferred, and then SAP SLL, dead mass, and then
It's the other way around, like Quentin. For customers, it should be dev mass, right?
oh, sorry, that's right. Dead mass, 3 mass, and then SAP SLL. This is map mass, and then this you may not familiar. Bomb mat, basically straightforward. SLL bomb. And I will show you where to activate it. Okay, don't worry. Just let me explain first, and then this one. PRC mat. PRC mat. So these are the change pointers that we need to activate in S4 or the GTS system to transfer your customer master, vendor master, product master, bill of material, or the prices. So let me go to the system. So this is also simple, straightforward. Okay, not that complex. So now you have to understand one important thing. So that is, there is something called area menu dashboard, GTS dashboard or GTS area menu, because your system is a standalone system, but you are doing some activities in the ECC side, right? For the GTS perspective, for the GTS reference, you are doing some activities in the S4 side or ECC side. You need to have a place. You need to have a place where you to do all those things, right? Am I correct? You need to have a placeholder to perform all those things. Like apart from the configuration, you need some kind of dashboard or some kind of area menu where you can do all GTS related things in the S4 system. For that, what SAP did, SAP has given one transaction code, that is area menu transaction code. Area menu transaction code. The transaction code is /n/SAP SLL/SAP SLL menu _ legal R3. So even in the GTS also, you have the same area menu transaction code. You have same area menu transaction code. But the difference is, if you would like to access area menu T code, GTS area menu T code, if you would like to access area menu T code in S4 or ECC system, you need to add R3. You need to add R3 to the same transaction code because it's a R3 related system, right? So SAP, our old SAP system is R3 system, right? So that's why we need to add R3. So whereas if you are accessing same GTS area menu in the GTS system, but the content is different. The content that is available in the GTS area menu in S4 side, and the content that is available in the GTS area menu in the GTS content is different. But we call it as a GTS area menu, and the T code is exactly same except R3 from the S4 side, and GTS we don't use the R3. If I put an Excel, you will be easily understand. Okay, let me put in like this one. Okay, so now /SAP SLL menu _ legal. If you want to access GTS dashboard or GTS area menu in GTS system, if you want to access GTS area menu or GTS dashboard in the GTS system, this is the T code. But whereas if you want to access GTS dashboard or GTS area menu in the ECC or S4HANA, ECC or
Venkat, this area menu in GTS E4H is not accessible, right?
I'm going to tell that. I'm going to explain that. Okay. This one, GTS area menu in the GTS system, this one, GTS area menu in the ECC, this one. So now let us finish the understand the change pointers, then I will come to that. Okay, that's also my another point. Okay. And if you go here, you access here under the area menu, okay. If you go here, go to the basic settings, you see a section called ALE change pointers. So now the first one is activate change pointers globally. Activate change pointers globally. This is just one step. It is very high level. So very high level. This is always active. Okay. It is applicable for everything. In addition to that, what we have to do, we have to activate for each option, for each element, for each object, which means, for example, so what we are talking about here, right? Okay. If you want to transfer vendor master, this need to be activated. CREAMAS need to be activated. If you want to transfer customer master from S4 to the GTS, this need to be activated. If you want to transfer bill of material, this need to be activated. And if you want to transfer material master, this need to be activated. And if you want to transfer bank master, this need to be activated. So like this, or if you want to transfer your price, product price, like we have standard average price and other things, right? You want to transfer, then this need to be activated. So like this, whatever the element, whatever the master data element that is relevant to the GTS transfer, you have to activate all these. You have to activate all these change pointers in the GTS system. Okay. So you can go to the GTS area menu in the S4 side or ECC and go to the last one, basic settings. Last one, basic settings. Under the basic settings. So the second one, activate change pointers for the message type. Change pointers for the message type. So now coming back to let me go to the Excel. So now this is what I was telling. So whether you refer the table or refer the like T code or table or program or function model, BADI, like extractors or user exits, anything. If I go to the GTS system, S11, okay, PSTC. This is the table, right? To see the table details, right? Sorry, transaction code details, right? So if I go, so if you put SAP SLL, okay, SAP SLL / so it gives all the transaction codes. See, these are all the transaction codes that are related to GTS system. And if I go to table, SC11 or SC16, okay. If I put */SAP SLL /*, it gives all. Did I do anything missed?
There's a typo there, Venkat.
Yeah, SAP.
Oh, sorry.
SAP.
Thank you. So, you see all the tables, all starting with what? SAP SLL, right? Like this. And the remaining content is related to that, whether it is product, whether it is header. So for example, if it is header, custom document header, CUHD. If you go here, CUHD. Okay, I think not all entries are available, right? Let me set all entries. So now if you see,
So this is, we can see it in S4 HANA except for ECC, right?
oh, now I am in S4, right? Let me go to the GTS. That's a good point. Okay. If I open the GTS, that's a good point. If I go to the GTS system. So because we can see that GTS related tables in S4, in the S4 side, you can see others in the GTS related tables in the GTS system. That's a good point. I did not realize it. Okay. If I go to S11 and then do the same thing to find tables. Mistake, right? SAP SLL. See, this is like if you want to display the custom document header data, that is /SAP SL is the common and CUHD is the headed data and CUIT is the item. So like this, you can see like whether you name it table or if you want to go to the program, any program, SE 38. You can see like if you put the same thing /SAP SLL star. See, all the program starts with GT. Basically, anything related to GTS starts with SAP SLL. Okay, I think that's good explanation to make you remember forever and understand. Okay, so now regarding the area menu. So basically, in the GTS system, what is the T code? Area menu T code. We need to remove the R3, right? If you want to access GTS area menu in the S4 side, you have to put R3. But now we are in the GTS system, right? Now we are in GTS system. Now we are in our GTS system. Okay. So now if you want to access the T code, it is coming. But how it is coming? One of the team member is saying that this GTS area menu is not available in the E4H system. So it is not 100% correct. What it is? By default, it is not available. Okay. For example, when you start using the SAP GTS E4H, like later versions, like new versions of SAP GTS E4H, you know what happens? When you try to access GTS area menu, it says the giving a note, it is not, you have to implement this note to enable the area menu, which means SAP by default area menu transaction has not given in the E4H newer versions. The new versions of SAP GTS module, by default it is not available, but in order to enable it, we have to implement a note. If we implement a note, then it is available. Why SAP has not given? These days, SAP is recommending Fiori apps. But SAP is recommending the front end, user web-based Fiori apps. In order to encourage that, SAP is restricting it, but SAP still have an option to implement a note so that this is available. Like this, it is available. Got it? So if you go to your client system and start using the same T code, it may not be available. It may be available. If they already implemented SAP note, it will be available. But if they don't implement a note, it is not available. But instead, SAP has given Fiori apps for SPL screening to manage the business partners, one Fiori app to manage the blocked documents. SAP has given different Fiori app. I will cover all those Fiori apps as well. Okay. All SAP E4H new content we will be covering as part of our things. Okay. So this is what, the second part, activating the change pointers. Any doubts so far?
Not from my end. Venkat.
Okay.
So regarding the note means like, do we have the note details that one?
No, system itself will give you that. It will give the pop-up message. You know that, right? When you go to the S4 HANA, when you try to use the XT03, what it says that? So use the BP, right? Like that it will recommend. It will recommend the note. Okay. And now, apart from, let me think what we have to cover in as part of data integration. In addition to this, I go to S4. This is S4. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to stop here because since it is we are beginning classes, I don't want to give very much content. But next week onwards, we will increase our time to 1.5 hour to 1 hour 45 minutes. That's the goal. Max, we can go to up to 1 hour 45 minutes on each day. Okay, so this is for today. If you have any questions, we can discuss, and I will share this recording by end of today, like yesterday. Okay. And I will be contacting you individually after class or maybe tomorrow or in weekdays.
So when these are the classes
Sure,
only
Venkat.
for weekends, right?
What is that?
These are the classes only for weekends, right?
Weekends, close
Only
to
Saturday, Sunday.
1 hour 45 minutes to 2 hours. That's what weekend.
Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday.
Oh.
And to complete the entire course, how many months